Water is essential to both people and wildlife. It's our economies, it's our agriculture, it's a way that brings people together. For fish, it's their habitat. It's where they get their food, it's how they temperature regulate, it's how they are able to migrate. It's kind of like their highway. It's absolutely essential to both. In really different ways, it runs through all of us, and it's like a really important element to our world and also to our wildlife. You don't have fish populations, you probably don't have clear, clean, cold running water, which is essential to everything that we know here in California.
Cold, clean water that we all depend upon. Trout are really excellent indicators of that. And so focusing on them allows us to get a better sense of how the ecosystem is functioning as a whole, how our watersheds are functioning. Trout face many different threats. The biggest ones tend to do with water diversion, how we use water. Are we blocking migratory pathways with dams? Are we taking water out of the stream during summer or fall months where we don't have any rainfall? And so during those critical times, are we managing water in a way that leaves enough for the environment?
I have always had a really genuine curiosity in just the natural world. I think that it's really important that these species have someone looking after them. They can't help themselves. I am leading the Sunol Valley Fish Passage project, and it is in the main stem of Alameda Creek in Alameda County. And we are addressing one of the last major barriers to fish migration in the main stem of Alameda Creek.
You have this getting kind of cleaned up a little bit because you're not going to be able to walk through some of it. And then
it's not what you would typically see. It's not a dam and it's not a culvert. It's actually a concrete erosion control mat that spans the creek and protects a massive PG&E gas transmission line that provides gas to the South Bay. So it's a tricky project, but it's really exciting that it is going into implementation this summer. A balanced ecosystem is important to me for my experience here on Earth, and then also with my son, I want to preserve that for him. To get to witness like how I did when I was a kid, to see these fish coming from the ocean up the rivers miles and miles and miles, and just witnessing that is such a indescribable experience that I think would be such a shame if that's not something that future generations get to see.
Trout spawn in the springtime, and they're relying on that cold snow melt that happens in the spring, summer, early summer months to get up into higher elevation habitats where there's likely to be cold, clean water.
I spent the first 9 years of my life living off the grid on the Bay Island of Hawaii, where my brother and I pretty much ran around like feral children. I really feel like that provided a core respect and relationship with nature. We've lost the independent run of spring run Chinook salmon because of the barrier at Iron Canyon. The Iron Canyon Fish Passage project on Big Chico Creek is a project for 2 listed species, the spring run Chinook salmon and the steelhead. Down this canyon, which I think is about 250 feet, is 17 man-made concrete and rebar fish ladder weirs. And they essentially weave through and under boulders that have fallen into the creek over geological time. So the goal of the Iron Canyon Fish Passage project is to get them past Salmon Hole and open up another 8.5 miles of habitat, so the fish can go to the cold water habitat over summer up there, hang out, and then spawn in the fall.
The overarching critical threat that our trout face is climate change. That is sort of a triple whammy. It hits us in availability of water, sort of when water is available on the landscape. As California tends to dry and have drought, that's really critical for these fish that can't make it through the hot and dry summer and fall months where there hasn't been rainfall for months and months at a time. It's the temperature of that water, and what that does is heat up what little water remains. And then the third way is fire, can really decimate a system. In some cases has caused rescues of those fish in drying pools. Taking fish out of their natural habitat is a last resort so that they're not just left stranded to die in drying streams, so that they can then be released back into their native habitat after those wildfires or really persistent drought conditions finally relent.
We really try to live where we work, and that just inherently creates this connection to community and being able to hear what the community is saying.
Just knowing that these oaks mean so much to the community is something that I'm aware of and that we'll take into consideration when designing stuff.
It's important to do this kind of work because I believe that we should leave what we find better than we inherited it, for my kids, for my grandkids. Without people doing this kind of work, it can just all slip away. Working with the fish that we work with, trout, salmon, steelhead, they're cold water fish. And so with climate change, they're really kind of the canaries in the coal mine. They are the fish that are feeling the impacts. They're sort of on the front lines of that. And they can blink out if we don't have people working to help protect them and their habitat.
I have hope for the migratory fish in California when I see things like people coming together to bring down the dams on the Klamath and communities rallying around like trash cleanups in their local creeks. And I think ultimately the most amazing thing is the resilience of these salmon and steelhead that keep coming back, despite all of these things that they're running up against.
These fish have been around for millennia. They've adapted to this incredibly diverse climate that we have here. Massive floods, critical drought, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, everything in between. And so their resilience is really the thing that gives me the most hope that they're still here.
I recently attended a field trip for fifth graders that were learning about aquatic insects and migratory fish and native uses of plants. And the engagement on those fifth graders was really cool to see. And so for future generations, I have hope that they will continue to be good stewards of native fish.